I'm a mental health counselor with Access Counseling, and I do school-based therapy at the Butler Tech campuses. I am also a office-based counselor as well. I do 7 challenges, and I am also part of the JDC education program team. Today, I will be educating you on the social emotional learning with respect. This quote, I think, summed up everything pretty well. It talked about basically having a broad enough heart and being able to respect and accept everybody's differences, even if you don't agree with them. Have a big enough heart to love unconditionally and a broad enough mind to embrace the differences that make each of us unique. It pretty much means even if you don't like somebody, respect their differences. Each of us are unique for a reason, and we have to treat each other with that kindness, with that respect, in order to accept each other and be able to handle each other in the world. What is respect? Respect is treating human beings with care, courtesy, and consideration. Due regard for the feelings, wishes, rights, or traditions of others. Respect is individually defined for each person through personal experiences. Respect is going to be different for everybody. Respect is based on how we grow up, how we're raised, who raises us. It's biologically, socially, and psychologically different for everybody. So if you're raised by your grandparents and you have siblings, or if you're raised by your parents and you're a single kid, all of that's going to make a difference. And how a person's raised and how they're taught to respect is different for everybody. So we can't expect the same type of respect from every single person. What respect is not. Respect is not the same thing as being nice. Respect is not obedience, agreement, or compliance. Respect is not fear. It's not automatically given. And it's not about liking or admiring somebody. It's not about reverence, esteem, or awe. We have this mindset that respect means that it's automatically given if we are above somebody, or if we have a position and somebody else is below us, or even in the classroom, if somebody's not doing what they're supposed to, or behaviorally something's wrong, we automatically tend to think, oh, they're not respecting us, they're being disrespectful. Well, like I said previously, if somebody's taught how to respect one way and you're expecting a different thing, respect is going to be shown differently. And respect does not mean they have to agree with you. They do not have to be compliant, and they do not have to obey. They can not like you and still respect you. They can like you and disrespect you if you're that. And a lot of people don't think about that, but if you are somebody that a person really likes, but there's just not really good leadership and a person knows that, they're not going to respect you in a leadership position, but they can be your best friend. Or if you're a great leader and you do a great job, but you're just a person that they don't get along with and outside of that positioning, then that's okay. They can respect you in that position, but not like you outside of it. What does respect look like in terms of social emotional learning? Like I've said previously, respect is something everyone learns growing up. Therefore, it looks different to everyone. Respect means that you accept somebody for who they are, even when you don't agree with them. Respect in relationships builds feelings of trust, safety, and well-being, and this is the most important part of it. When it comes to the student-teacher relationship, A student who respects you is going to feel more comfortable coming up to you and letting you know they didn't understand the homework or that they had a rough night and they just couldn't get it done. Telling you that they like certain things and they express it, even though you may not, they're going to be more comfortable doing that. Letting each other know that you express who you are and it's okay. Feeling safe around each other. Being okay with disagreeing with each other, but being patient about it, saying, it's okay, you disagree with me, and I'm glad you admitted that. I'm glad you told me how you feel, and you did it in a safe environment. Admitting mistakes, both sides admitting mistakes. The social emotional learning part of it is helping the students, the young kids, learn that these things are okay in life. It's okay to express who you are. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay not to agree with everybody, and not everybody agrees with you, but it's not okay to yell at them for it. It's not okay to be mean at them. It's okay that this happens in the world. That's the part of respect that gets developed with the social emotional learning aspect. It's the building of trust, safety, and well-being. Respect in the classroom. There are aspects that have not been seen. There's an absence of respect in school, and we as the counselors have heard it time and time again. So here are some examples of things that students have said to us that show an absence of respect. They don't listen to me or what any of us have to say. And they only care about test scores. They never hear or listen to my side of things. They just assume I did it. They think I'm a problem student. Also, unfortunately, students get accused of things they didn't do. Example, Mrs. A said I have to owe 5 minutes of recess because I took Carl's pencil, but I didn't do it. A teacher said to a student, suck it up, Buttercup. That hurt that student's feelings because they cried. Often elementary age students, when disrespected, will shut down. They have closed body language or they show angry faces, they pout, and then it just looks like a lot of disrespectful behavior or that they're acting out, and then it gets a lot of miscommunication on both parts. But there's also respect seen in the classroom, and there are examples of what we've heard from them. They took the time to help me understand the material and I didn't feel stupid about it. Meaning, a teacher helped the student understand what was going on in the classroom and they didn't make condescending remarks. They didn't make the student feel like they were dumb for not getting it to begin with. This is a huge part for development for students. They pronounce my name correctly. A lot of times with the spelling of names nowadays, it's hard to pronounce students' names. But some students have gone years without having a teacher be able to pronounce their name correctly. And when they get it and a teacher pronounces it correctly, the student's world just lights up. They feel so loved and so cared for and respected. Giving options to students to help them raise their grades. Yes, I understand they should have done it right the first time or they should have done it to begin with. But there's always those students that just have this fear of failure and fear of they're going to look like a terrible student if they don't get it right the first time. And there's others that do try and they just can't get it right. So helping them understand ways to raise their grades or giving them different options and giving them that respect that they may not be visual learners or hands-on like paper pencil learners. Asking for their side of the story, taking the time to hear them out while coming to a solution together. This is huge for students. Sometimes they want to be heard, and listening to them and hearing their side of the story lets them know that you're hearing them out and you're taking the time to get all facts of what happened. Letting them know that they may not like something that you like or vice versa, but it doesn't mean that you think less of them. Again, another huge one. Everybody's different, but you can respect each other and still think highly of somebody. Apologizing and admitting when you are wrong or made a mistake. Again, huge. A lot of times kids go through life thinking they always make mistakes, that they are always wrong and never right and can't do anything right. But when they look at adults, all they see is sometimes people never admitting that they were wrong, and then they get upset. It's okay to admit you're wrong, especially to the students, because then they feel so much more respectful and respected. They feel like you actually care enough about them to say, hey, I made a mistake. Let's correct it together. And they feel part of that connection. So now we're going to talk about some interventions that you can use with your students. First, we'll talk with elementary age students. So the number one thing that you can do with your kids is define respect. This needs to be in both their terms and your terms. Then create a poster with them, a classroom definition that combines all of the definitions, and keep it in the front of the room so they can see it every day. This can also be something that you put in an area that they can see while on Zoom. Using the golden rule poster is going to be helpful as well. Lots of times kids use the golden rule in their definitions. Helpful books are The Golden Rule book by Eileen Cooper and Do Onto Otters by Lori Keller. Reading that for a lesson and, talking about it with the kids, asking the class to write or draw what respect means to them. And if some of them don't include the golden rule, maybe talk about if they know what the golden rule is or what the golden rule means. Practice by modeling the behavior. You also are in charge. Kids model by behavior. They are great imitators. If they see you do, they will do as well. Vocabulary sort is a good game that you guys can do. You basically place words or actions on cards that will represent respect or disrespect, and the kids have to place them into one of the categories. And then you guys discuss as a class if those are good places to put them. More options that you guys can do is scenario cards, writing out scenarios, and then have kids act out the scenarios. Afterwards, discuss as a group if the actions were respectful or disrespectful and help the kids process. Also, teaching appreciation for differences through use of puzzles. Have the kids build a puzzle together and then take some of the puzzle pieces away. Explaining that as a class, they are a puzzle. They represent puzzle. Each kid is a puzzle piece, and they are unique and different based on their personality. You take one away, and the class doesn't fit the same. They're not the same class as they were before when all the pieces were together. Self-portraits is a good idea as well. Using a large blank crayon, they can make a self-portrait and write facts about themselves and then put them on display across the room. That way they can see who their class makes up and what they all represent. A book that's really good to use with this is The Crayon Box That Talked by Shane Darrell. Another good game is Simon Says, Who Are You? It's a variation of Simon Says, but to add on to it, you say, Simon says, pat your head if your favorite color is blue. And the kids can then see everybody who has the favorite color blue that's patting their head. They can see who has their favorite color and then those who like different things. Here are some more books that teach respect, respecting differences, and respecting yourselves. You can use these with the class. And here's a golden rule poster that may be good to use in your class. An example of the blank crayon self-portrait that a child did and the scenario cards up at the top. And then there's some more examples of Simon Says, Who Are You? That you can use as well. Now we will go to the middle school aged interventions. So again, that top thing that you should always do is define respect. So you can either do this in small groups or as a whole class and brainstorm what respect means to me. And then have the class create a classroom definition that can be used for the rest of the year. Have students pick a book to read individually and then share with the class ways it displays the theme of respect. Respect party. This can be done in different ways. You can do popcorn party, no homework, whatever is going to work best with your class, and display those letters up on the board or wherever they can see it on Zoom. And then use the Thanks for Showing Respect worksheet. Students are going to write down how their peers displayed respect during that class. They just write down every time they saw a classmate show respect. And that way it's honoring their classmates and noticing the good behaviors versus picking out the bad behaviors. Each letter of popcorn party or no homework is going to receive at least 5 thanks of respect from the students. At the end of the word, it can represent the popcorn party or no homework for the next day, whatever works best for your class. You guys can also watch videos or clips. The clip of the link is a little boy who talks about respect and ways to show respect in the world. You can also find other clips that you feel shows respect, and that's gonna capture your audience. Have the students draw a scene like in a movie that demonstrates respect and share with the class. Also, there's respect recipes. Students create a respect recipe that they feel embodies respect. They process then with the class the differences of everyone's recipes and ingredients. They also want to notice the similarities of the ingredients that they used. Here's the examples. There's the worksheet for Thanks for Showing Respect, recipes for respect, and drawings. Now we'll go to the high school age interventions. Again, that number one thing to start off with is defining respect as individuals and as a class. What does it look like? What does it sound like? Then create a classroom definition of respect that can be used for the rest of the year. Respect by property. This would be using a rating scale or a visual thermometer and asking various questions about destroying property and having the individual students rate how upsetting this would be for them. This way, the students can understand how they feel about disrespect and how they would feel in those specific situations to get a more understanding of their levels of disrespect. And you can also understand more how they think about specific situations versus how you think about situations. Present a survey to your students. Write a survey so that way you can ask your students what they need to feel respected by you. This would help them feel like you want them to be heard and that you are trying to get more information to make your classroom a safer and more open and trustworthy environment. The biggest thing is to make sure you follow through with their results and their answers. Watch TED Talks. The link on here goes to a TED Talk about the myth of respect and rudeness. It's a really good TED Talk and can present a lot of classroom discussions. You can have the students have a debate on it as well. Another thing you can do is pair your students to have 2-minute discussion on the commonalities between them. Make sure you pair them with people they don't normally talk to, and they can discuss commonalities that they didn't already know and cannot visibly see. Example, my favorite food is pizza. My partner's favorite food is also pizza. When you come back as a class, you can discuss and discover if anybody else also shares those commonalities. Another big thing with high school kids is media. This is going to be a huge platform for you. Using movie clips to have students identify moments of respect or disrespect and then discuss it. The link below goes to Freedom Writers, and it discusses a huge moment between the teacher and the students about respect. A music lesson is also going to be really impactful as well. You can have the students bring in their favorite radio edited songs to instill cultural differences and respect. Having all the students listen to everybody's favorite song and making sure that they respect that musical choice and listen to it all the way through and understanding that this is that person's favorite song and understanding what they like about it during the entire class. That's a good way to instill respect. Also, looking up lyrics of different songs that demonstrate respect and disrespect while discussing, pointing out which part of the songs are talking about respect and disrespect, and having them process it and what about that part is displaying the theme. Here's an example of the thermometer for respect by property that you can use. Also, there's a picture clip from The Office that demonstrates a scene from respect by the coworkers and the boss. You can use various clips in different episodes of TV series to show the students respect and disrespect. This is an example of lyrics that you can pull up and go through reading word for word, having the students process and stopping in the middle and saying, hey, that's showing respect and here's why. This song is Respect by Aretha Franklin. That is everything from the PowerPoint. If you have any questions or concerns or want more information, you can contact me. I'm Brooklyn Howes, or you can reach out to any of your Access Counseling school-based therapists at your schools. Have a good rest of your day.